Okay, welcome back, Boss Wizard Crypto. Today we're talking about the NASDAQ. Okay, I have a bold statement to make. Okay, this is my primary idea. You guys know me, I have lots of ideas. Okay, of course I have alternate counts, but this is my primary idea for the NASDAQ. I'm going to jump to the weekly. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, I know, but it is my primary opinion. Okay, if we jump to the weekly and we look back to when this index started, okay, now, when new things happen, and new being relative, right? This index started in 1985, right? They kind of have to jump in to where social mood is in its life cycle. Okay, so while you could probably label this differently, right? Instead of ABC, right? You can just say like, okay, bunch of stuff happened in history, and then you got 3, 4, 5, right? It doesn't matter. You're gonna wind up in the same spot, okay? Because I'm just simply saying that the NASDAQ, since it started, okay, back here in 1985, has put in one big corrective zigzag. Okay. And while most people out there are going to try to count this and try to trick themselves into saying, okay, 1, 2, 3, we're just working on, we're still in the 3. Okay, this is just a 1. Okay, and a 2. All right, and we're still in the 3 here, forever. I'm going to go on a limb here now, early, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that within the next decade, that this low is going to break for the NASDAQ. And that is around, I can give you an exact number, but it's around 800 bucks. Okay. 795.25, as we saw up here in the corner. Okay. Which means that no, this can't be 1, 2, 1, 2, because that low can't break. It's going to be a long time before we figure that out, and you guys are going to forget about this video. But what I am saying is that this is all one big correction. I'm not saying the NASDAQ isn't ever going to become impulsive one day. I'm just saying, as common with a lot of assets that start and jump into where social mood is in the life cycle, it started its life corrective. So let's show you what happened since this top, where I'm saying is the top of a C wave. All right, which would be, if I move these labels right over the candle, okay, C wave here. We've started down in 5 waves. Okay, we have an expanding diagonal here, right here. Yeah, you have an expanding 5-wave diagonal. You have a 3-wave retracement of the 5-wave move down. Okay. Another expanding diagonal here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your A wave. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your impulse, for your C wave, giving you a 3-wave move for wave 2. And how we've started down is we've started the very beginnings of a 3rd wave extension. Okay, being 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is about to roll over. Okay, in fact, I believe it's already started. And then this is just going to be bloody. It's just gonna go, baby. Okay, and my guess is it's not gonna stop. Okay, it's going to keep going. Whoops, I grabbed it. I didn't want to grab it. It's just going to keep going and going and going and going and going. Okay, and it's not going to stop until we get into this mess here. Okay, you'll get a pullback like this. Okay, and that is going to be your 3. Okay, then you'll get another pullback. It's going to take a while, and then you'll get your 5. Okay, I don't know how long that's going to take or what it's going to look like, but it's going to be something like that. All right, and that's going to be your A wave. Okay, this is not your A wave. This is going to be your A wave. All right. Now I'll go back to the weekly to show you how I project this to play out. Okay. Then you're going to have several years. Remember I said this is going to take like a decade. All right. A several year pullback. Everybody's going to be like, the bull market's back. Here we go. Not. It's just going to be a lower high. Okay. It's going to be a massive move, and I don't want to miss it. Okay. I'm going to be aboard this train. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But it's just going to be a B wave. Okay. And then you're going to think this is bad. You haven't seen bad yet, because you're going to get all of this play out again, even bigger. Boom. And that's how you get to $800 or lower. And that's going to be your C wave. All right. There's a glimpse into what my primary count of the future looks like. Okay, so let me get rid of all this stuff. And we're going to dig into a smaller time frame. But to show you on the smaller time frame, we're going to flip it over to the futures chart. Okay, so this is that top, that wave 2 top that I told you about, right here. And this is how we've started down so far. So you have 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now, before you guys all get your panties in a bunch and say, well, Gup, look at this. The 2 exceeded the start of 1. This orange one, that's not legal. You, sir, are an idiot. Okay. Hold the phone there, buddy. These purple lines, okay, let me show you. I didn't make up these purple lines, all right? This is in the settings, all right? This is a contract, a continuous contract chart, okay? And look, okay, I didn't make that up. This is where the contract switches, okay? Every 3 months, the contract switches. And TradingView decides that, on like the Thursday before the contract ends, it's going to switch to the next contract. And that's to keep a continuous chart going with enough volume. Okay, because if you switch too early, you're not going to get enough volume on the chart. And if you switch, you can't switch too later, you have no more price action because the contract's over, right? So I see it all the time on the Twitter sphere or X or whatever you want to call it nowadays. Okay, let's go ahead and shut that off. All right, just for now. I left the contract switch down here, but I'm going to switch the break off for right now. There are so many people out there I see, the S&P chart and the NASDAQ chart, okay? They're like, we got to fill this gap, bro. Look at this gap. We got to fill this gap, bro. How many gaps do you see in this chart? Exactly 2, right? You see exactly 2 gaps in this chart. Those are not gaps, friends. You're waiting for something that, I mean, yeah, sure, it might fill. Obviously, it did fill. Okay, well, this one isn't yet. It will. But that's not, the market doesn't know about that. That's a trading view thing. right? There's no such thing as a continuous contract in real trading. This is just a visual representation of contracts just laid one after another. That's all this is. This isn't a real tradable chart, right? Can you trade the price action between contracts? Yes, of course, right? If we put this purple line back up, there's your gap. It's because the contract changed. That's all. It's just the next contract. Okay, it's not a gap in price action. Okay, and you know what? I'm going to tell you exactly when the next one's going to happen. Right here, Thursday, December 7th at 11 p.m. Okay, that's when the next one is going to switch over. And you will probably see a gap on that day. But it's not a gap, it's just a switch of the contract, right? So, anyway, it is not a rule violation, okay? This price action is just a result of the difference in price between contracts, okay? And if I do this and come down to the same time frame on the actual NASDAQ chart, okay, you can see this is the contract switch in question right here, okay? It did not. It did not break that high, okay? You look at the date. Friday, September 1st is this high. Thursday, the 14th is this high, right? Go back to the contract, continuous contract chart, okay? What do we have? Okay, Friday, September 1st, okay? Here's the 14th and 15th, right? It's the same thing, okay? It just we have the price action coming down here. There's a slight difference in price action on the contract itself, but the high is at around the same time. But you could see this isn't it, okay? And if we go and we look at the contract, let's bring it up very quickly here. Okay, it's just something I want to show you guys because I see so many people doing this wrong, okay? These are the actual contracts. This is the continuous contract. This NQ1. That's not a real tradable chart. This is the contract that we're currently working on, which expires in December, right? You can't see the September one anymore because it's expired and gone, right? But I'll pull up this one, and you can see, okay, it's been going for a while, but then volume picks up as you get closer to the contract end date, right? And you can see, okay, where's the September 1st, right? Here's September 1st on the December contract. Okay, the price was up here at 15,863. This is the actual tradable chart. This is that 1-2. Okay. Okay, September 1st, price 15,860. Okay, we go back to the continuous contract visual representation of contracts strung together. Okay. You can see the first right here. It's a $200 difference. Okay. The December contract was way up here, right? This is what the September contract did. Or I'm sorry, the December contract did. It did not exceed the start of 2. You're looking at a difference in price between 2 consecutive contracts. This is the September contract. This is the December contract. There's the break. All right. So everybody understands that and how that works. Okay. Anyway, I digress. All right. I just don't want anybody making a fool of themselves in the comments. That's all. Anyway, this is how we get down in that 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. 1, 2. I'm sorry. 1, 2. White one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Not confirmed done yet. All right, but it looks done to me. All right, it has every reason to be done. Okay, because it's broken the structure. All right. That doesn't mean it can't come up and make one more high, right? And once you get this small, it's hard to, you know, really nail down the wave degrees here, but this is some sort of zigzag family. All right, you have multiple swings here. This is something, okay, this is something, and this is something, okay. Doesn't really matter how you count it, some kind of zigzag family going on here, but you already have, right, you've come up into this range here and you have a significant retrace, okay. Probably pretty close to some Fibonacci number. Yeah, just past the 618, getting towards the 786, right? You're right in that golden zone. And you've broken the structure. So you've come into the golden zone, you've turned, okay? All right, you have this new high, you've turned, you've broken this structure. You've now made a lower low, okay, than this one. And that's a signal, that's a sign that this is over with. Okay, that's your first indication. All right, but I teach all this kind of stuff. I teach how to do all this. We talk about it. We come up with good ideas in my Discord. Okay, bosswizardcrypto.com. This is what it looks like. Okay, you have all the videos. So some of these, like this one's a public one. You can click on that right on the website and watch it. These we have exclusive updates. Okay, and it's more than just these. These just come off the, this is what spotlights or whatever, right? But got new content every week or thereabouts. Maybe sometimes it goes 2 weeks. Depends how busy the market is. Okay, sometimes it's 3 in a week. Right, it's generally weekly. Right, a whole series of educational videos. The Discord community, talk about things, ask questions, study the Elliott wave theory. Okay, here's a big one. You get access to my charts. Right, what are my charts? Well, oh, look at that. If you want to get in, you need to be subscribed. So many people are like, I can't get in, I can't get in. Bro, you need to subscribe to the Discord. Okay, how do you subscribe to the Discord? Right here. So let me pause this and I'm going to show you the charts page. And through editing magic, we're on the charts page. Okay, this is all the charts I have right now. I'm adding more all the time. All organized. Here's the crypto stuff. I got all of these charts. Okay, we come down in time frames on Bitcoin. All coins are just macro charts. Okay, it's not really worth doing micro charts on these because this is an asset class. Okay, all of these are going to run together. And Bitcoin's daddy. Bitcoin determines direction for everything. Okay, all these currency pairs I have counted out. Several commodities, adding more all the time. Several indexes. Okay, and I have these smaller counts for the major index here, major indexes, and even bigger macro counts for the Dow. Okay, it's kind of pointless to go ahead and count like every single index every single way. Okay, so what I've chosen to do is I take the Dow, which is the longest running, and this is just the macro, like going back freaking hundreds of years. Okay, against the dollar, against the PPI, against gold. Okay, and then these ones I count even smaller. Right, so that's how I have it organized, and then just a small collection of stocks. I add more on request. Okay, let me show you the Big Seven. Okay, or the Magnificent Seven, as some like to call it. Right. So I had this count running for a while. Multiple options on this. This is the 7 stocks holding up the entire stock market. Okay. I have a 5-wave move down, just like the NASDAQ, honestly. It's an expanding diagonal down. A 3-wave move up. Okay. And there's options here. All right. I've marked an invalidation in case this high broke, but it hasn't. Basically same as the NASDAQ, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now there are options, obviously. If this high broke, right, it might not be done yet, and that's okay. You can simply move the invalidation up here, and you have a flat pattern, okay, which would end maybe just beyond that, all right, and that's about it. Okay, that's an option. If that high broke, it would just tell you what's going to happen in the future. That's all. What to expect in the future, because you want alternation between your 2 and 4. All right, but the high hasn't broken. So for now, this is how Elliot tells you to count. Expect the extension, and you will be rewarded more often than you won't. So for now, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're just waiting for the turn. Okay, and I bring this up because once these 7 stocks, okay, Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. Once these 7 stocks turn, it's going to take the rest of the stock market with it. Okay, very similar to NASDAQ structure, only slightly different. Once this turns, it's going to go, and there's going to be no style. There will be nowhere to hide. Okay, you're going to see liquidations at a level that you have never seen before in your entire life. Okay, the borrowing is to the hilt right now on puts. Okay, I said puts, on calls. Okay, borrowing is to the hilt. They're going to come and collect, people. They're going to come and collect. And how do they collect? Like that. They're going to get their monies. Okay, so all you AI junkies out there, and sorry, man, it's going to get bad for you. All right, this is the magnificent 7. The Magnificent 7. I've not seen this chart anywhere else. As far as I know, I'm the only one who's made it. I'm sure someone's made it, but this is where you can come and see it. It's in my Discord. I will keep it up to date. Okay, and hell, maybe I'll even count a smaller version of it. Can't trade it per se unless you just like started your own little fund of these stocks, then you can trade it, right? But it's essentially an index that I've made. It's the Magnificent 7 index. Okay, and that's where we stand. Okay, so back to the main chart here. Big view. 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't be surprised if it's a bloody, bloody Christmas. Okay, and this starts to turn and go. You've been warned.